Morning, everyone. We're just waiting for folks to make their way into the auditorium. Good morning. Thank you for being here. There's more seats on this side if some of you feel like you need to be a little bit closer to the projector screen. Thank you. Morning, everyone. Come on in. We'll get started just in a couple minutes here. No food in the auditorium. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rodney. But come on in. We'll get settled in just a couple minutes. Okay, as folks start to trickle in, we're just going to go ahead and get our program started because I know some of you were here as early as 8:30. Congratulations and thank you for coming out this Saturday morning. We are so very happy to have you at our second annual AB 617 All Community Steering Committee event. And so many of you represent our AB 617 communities. And truly, what an honor it is to have you here today. We have a room full of community leaders, change makers, neighbors, visionaries across from all our 6 communities. So give yourselves a round of applause just for getting here on a Saturday. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am Arlene Farrell-Saria. I'm the Public Affairs Manager in our AB 617 program. And today you'll meet some of our staff as MCs throughout the day. And some of you might already know them because they're likely your community liaison for AB 617. And so again, thank you for being here. Just a quick announcement. For those of you that need translation, we have our translation booth back there for Spanish translation. And so if you can just raise your hands, there they are back there. So if you need headsets, please see our folks back there in the booth if you know anyone that might need translation for this morning. Great. Awesome. So we have headsets in the back and then also on Zoom. I know we have some of our Zoom participants. If you click on the globe icon, you can go ahead and select the Spanish language translation and this entire meeting will be translated for you. Okay, how many of you all got your goodie bags? And all right, let's see them. And you all got your folders? All right, this is gonna be an important one for you all today because today you'll find your agenda. We have our little agenda program and that'll help you get through our day. Also, if you see anyone in a blue shirt with an AQMD logo, ask them where to go, where to be, if you're in the right place, and we will be happy to help you all. So if you'll just turn to the first page here of our agenda, I'm going to pass it over for our SEEP land and labor acknowledgement.
Good morning, everyone. Evangelina or Evangie. On behalf of the Community Engagement and Air Programs Division at South Coast AQMD, we acknowledge that we are on the ancestral land of the Cahuilla, Serrano, and Gabrielino Tongva people. We also honor the labor of the people who have and do reside here and their efforts to foster a healthier environment and enhance the quality of the life for all residents and community stakeholders. We are excited to be in a communal space and we reflect on our relationship with both the land and one another to celebrate the progress and achievements of our collaborative efforts. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. So again, today is a day of connection. It's a day of collaboration. It's a day of celebrating all the good work that all our AB 617 communities have done through the years. And so as you look at your program, you'll find some greetings. And on page 3 is your actual agenda for today. And so we'll have a brief welcome and just a little bit and acknowledgements from our South Coast AQMD and CARB leadership. We are in for a treat, y'all, because we get to see a film screening, a portion of it from our Emmy Award-winning documentarian. Sophia Figueroa is in the house, y'all. So we get to experience that. After that, we will have a networking lunch, an opportunity for all of our community neighbors to connect with one another. We have all, like I said, we're cross communities here. And so meet someone new during our networking lunch. And then in our afternoon session, we have a panel of some of the most hardworking community leaders in the game. And we're gonna have some community discussion during that portion. So please stick around after lunch for an exciting panel discussion. And then following that, we'll have our resource fair. And actually throughout the day, you'll see the various resource tables. Feel free to visit them. But I know last year, some of you said, oh, just everything happened so fast and we wanted just a little bit more time to just check out the resource fair. But I invite you to check them out throughout the day. We also have an amazing, our amazing monitoring team that are out in the parking lot. And they're gonna show you all the top-notch, high-tech stuff that I don't understand, mobile monitoring equipment. So please take time to visit them out in our parking lot so that you all have an opportunity to learn about some of our data collection and monitoring work that we're doing in terms of AB 617 efforts. All right, so at this time, please help me welcome from our executive leadership from South Coast AQMD. Many of you already know her. If I could call up Dr. Anissa Hurd Johnson.
Oh. Oh my God, hello. Oh, he said my hair was jamming. Bringing a little something up in the hood, yeah. Hello, oh my gosh, thank you so much. So my name is Dr. Cessa Hurd Johnson. I am the Deputy Executive Officer for our Community Engagement and Air Programs Division here at South Coast. This is, as Arlene, oh my gosh, Arlene, thank you so much for sharing the vision. This is our second annual CSC event. I am so happy to be in space with you all. I am happy that you all are in our presence. We do not take your presence for granted. We do not take your presence for granted. So thank you so much for showing up. You know, maybe y'all will show out. Whatever the show is in it. We're so grateful to be in space with you all. When I first came to South Coast AQMD 2021, almost immediately, I begged the COO and our executive officer at the time to please let me be associated with this program. I am a resident of Inglewood. What? Thank you. West Side. Born and raised, 112th and Crenshaw. And so I don't have a high school anymore. Morningside High School got demolished. So this is my hood. These are my hoods. These are my people. You all are my people. And so that when I came into this agency 4 years ago and got to be able to see this program, to see what it was becoming, to see what it was, I was just begging to be able to be associated with it. So I was very grateful that Susan's here. Where's Susan? Susan Nakamura, our COO. Wayne Nastry, he's traveling, he's not here today, but I just really wanted to be associated with this program because I was going to be able to interact with you all in doing this work. If you don't know a little bit about me, I literally lived in the Pacific Northwest for much of my adult life. I had my children there, and within 6 months of moving back home, I got vitamin D deficiency. I literally was in Forks, you know, where they say the rainiest part, like in that Twilight movie or whatever, like the rainiest part. See, I know y'all know Forks, Twilight. Rainiest part of the country, move home to Southern California and then get a vitamin D deficiency, right? Like what, right? My youngest kid got asthma symptoms within 2 months of moving from the Pacific Northwest to Southern California. And so I was like, what the, oh, is that, And I was working in higher education. And although I'm appreciative of higher education, I knew that my heart was no longer in it. Because I will say this, and I'll say it to anyone, we can't breathe. We can't breathe. There ain't nobody gonna co-opt that, right? We're not talking about the police and everything. We can't breathe. And so it became really important for me. And so I was very grateful to get the job here. And then I've been very grateful to do this work here so that I could be in space with you all, to be able to hear your stories, to be able to, most importantly, for you all to hear each other's stories. I am real appreciative that we had 6 AB 617 communities, but y'all know y'all didn't talk. As the young people say, y'all say less. Y'all didn't talk. And there was a purposefulness, even if we didn't do it as an agency, there was still a divisiveness amongst the communities, and folks didn't talk to each other, and that's problematic. And so it was the vision. I was encouraged by my supervisors to find a way to get folks to be in space with each other. And this was in COVID, right? And so the fact that we have been able to have the Zoom meetings and be in space, that's great. But last year to have the first one of these was really a ultimate goal. And I'm so grateful not only for you all to be here, I know we're going to do a shout out later, but to have our CARB folks here. Where are the CARB folks at? Say that. Thank you for you all for coming out as well, for you all to be in space with us, especially in this past year of all the challenge that we are going through, that we continue to go through. We had these moments where we had these Zoom meetings, and I would see Raphael talking to Angie, talking to Farrell, talking to Valerie, talking to Muscoe Jane, right? Talking to Adon, right? I see you. I see you. And we were talking amongst people. We were talking amongst each other. People were giving each other props. People were saying, I've heard of you before. I've seen you before. We haven't connected. And so to put you all in this space, for you all to be here today, it is not, we are grateful. We are absolutely grateful. And so we hope that you all take the intention of this event today, which is not only speaking with us and speaking with CARB, learning information about different divisions here at South Coast, but also, again, talking to each other. Right, being in space, connecting with folks, that will make us feel like we've done some good, you know? And so it's not the end. We had a lot of fights this year, y'all know, right? All about the MLNEY. And so I'm grateful that we are in space. I'm grateful for what we're gonna do moving forward. I'm grateful for the amount of money that we're gonna be able to put into the communities to reduce the emissions of all the poisons that are in the air, that are killing us. And so I'm humbled. I'm humbled. So I'm gonna get off that and I'm gonna get excited because y'all are here. But I just wanted to have that moment to be able to tell you and welcome you all for being into the space to be with us. Please show up, tell us, talk to each other. Let's really get this going, keep this going, get this movement, the momentum of this movement, you know, moving forward. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you, Arlene, for the time. Welcome. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Sessa. And so now I'm going to invite Lisa Tanaka, our Deputy Executive Officer of our Legislative Public Affairs and Media, to just share a few words on some of our legislative updates. Lisa.
Thank you so much for allowing me to share this space with you. It's really such a privilege to be among all of you and to hear firsthand about all of the amazing work that's being done and the work that we've done in the future. So I just wanted to provide a quick update on the legislative session. It was a tough budget year. It was very disheartening to see that originally the 617 program was zeroed out in the governor's budget, and that really set up a fight during the legislative session. And we had some amazing champions come out of that, including our very own Assembly member, Jose Luis Solache, who is a former board member, who really stepped up to the plate, as well as Senator Reyes and Senator Irwin and so many others, Senator Limon. But out of it, we were successful in securing $100 million for 2026-27. And we recognize that this is lower than what the program normally historically has received. But this was a huge achievement in a really difficult budget year. And so it's funding to keep the program going, and we'll continue to persevere. But I have to say that the amazing news was that then through the reauthorization of the Cap and Trade program, which has now been renamed the Cap and Invest program. Sorry, I'm probably skipping through slides. I'm not even looking. Through the Cap and Trade program, there was an effort to reauthorize the program, including an annual appropriation or allocation for AB 617 in the amount of $250 million. And that is a massive, massive achievement and milestone for this program. This means that the program will receive funding for 10 years. So that's through 2045. And that is something that had been fought for by all of you and us and all of our colleagues throughout the state for all of these years since 2017 when the program was created or came into life. Now, I will caveat, though, that it will be an ongoing fight every single year because the 250 million, we are in a line of priorities. So first, the legislative priorities are funded. And so, for example, high-speed rail and wildfires are in the 26-27 budget. Then there's $1 billion fund for the legislature. And then there's a tranche that includes AB 617. So I say this because this is a continued effort by all of us to ensure that AB 617 is represented in the room and that we make our voices loud, that it's an important program and it's transformational for our communities, for reducing air pollution and protecting health. So it's a really good news, though, where it's positive. I just want to share that overall, there was another bill, next slide, SB 352 by Senator Reyes. And this was an effort to make some updates to the AB 617 program. And so some of the updates included codifying the Environmental Justice Bureau in the California Attorney General's office, which is a huge success. It also codified that air monitoring should occur for at least 5 years in the community with the option to in increments of additional 5 years. And it required some reporting and some hearings and things. But I want to say that this is the start. We heard loud and clear from the legislature that in 2026, there will be hearings and open discussion that includes all of us. And it's very important for all of us here and throughout the state to be able to provide the input, the successes of the program, the challenges of the program, but also common sense solutions on how we can work together to continue to build upon the work that you all have worked so hard to do and achieve. And then what is the future of the program? So it's a fantastic opportunity for us to come together and to really hear, you know, again, the successes, the challenges, and how to go forward. So with that, I just close that we look forward to hearing about the program from all of you and having that open discussion and charting a path forward for future success of the program. And that concludes.
Lisa, don't get mad at me. Lisa, I'm right here. I'm right here. Right next to you. There we go. Don't get mad. Y'all, please give another round of applause for Lisa, because she fought. She fought. I didn't look at her knuckles after the fight, but she fought. So thank you very much, Lisa. Thank you for your team. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. And just an extra thank you to our executive leadership team who is here, Susan Nakamura, Dr. Sarah Rees, Carlos, our monitoring, Jason Lowe, Dr. Jason Lowe. Thank you all for your continued support with this program. We truly appreciate you all. Next up, we have Deldy Reyes, not a stranger to most of us, from our California Air Resources Board, also to provide an update as well.
Hello, everyone. How is everybody doing? Yeah. Ooh, all right. So really hard to follow these two, but what I first want to do, after saying my name, I'm Deldy Reyes. I work for the Air Resources Board. I manage our small office of community air protection. You know, on the heels of this great news, I want to thank all of you in the community steering committees who used your voice and spoke up, wrote a letter, called your legislator, took part in a webinar, organized with other CSCs. You know, like we heard, it was scary there for a while, I was honestly thinking, we're not going to be funded this year. What are we going to do? So when legislators heard from people who are connected to this work, as much more that we need to do for sure, but when they heard from your voices, they paid attention. And in this day and age, when we think about what's happening in our country, that is democracy in action. And I'm a government person, right? You all are the ones who showed what community power can do. And I just hope you all can just give yourselves a big round of applause for that victory. So now to the year ahead, we have so much we want to lift up that is coming from this program, and so much we want to continue to try to make better. One of the reasons we're here is because of the amazing Dr. Sessa and her team. I was telling a colleague, I was telling Susan earlier, that for us at CARB, we're looking at 2026 as the year of convening, right? What is convening? Bringing people together to build bridges, connection. And Dr. Sessa has been a leading force within our little government community, pushing for us to do more and more. So take a look around the room. Think about the communities here in South Coast under 617. There's 19 across the state. Imagine now an opportunity where all 19 of those community steering committees are connected in physical space with each other. Yeah. So we are working towards that. In 2026, it will be community designed, community centered. We will have a call for folks who want to put their hand up to help us design. All right, I see a hand right there, Angie, to help us design it and make sure that it works for community folks, right? So more on that to come. And I want to just take a moment and ask all my CARB friends to stand up, because we're not all wearing blue shirts today, but some of us are. And I want to point them out. I want to point them out so that you all have like faces to go and talk to at our resource fair. Over here on our right, we've got some Jeremy and his crew from the Monitoring and Lab Division, right? We've got our Enforcement Division in the house. We've got Armando. Who else do we have? Other divisions represented. Okay, Enforcement, Monitoring and Lab. And then, of course, we have our Office of Community Air Protection, this crew right here. These are your community liaisons. I want to give a special shout out to Monica Guerra, who joined OCAP's team in August. She's a branch chief in OCAP, and she's responsible for working with all 3 districts in Southern California, right? So you can reach out to her anytime. You can reach out to me anytime. And then right behind her, we have Melinda Dumasani. Melinda, many of you know because she wears many, many hats, including managing our Community Air Grants program and also serving as the manager for all the team of liaisons. And we've got Diane Sanchez here. Diane and her team are responsible for all of the money that goes to air districts to make this program work. Implementation dollars, right? And incentives. And so just thank you guys. Thanks for standing, and hope all of you, have a minute to go check out these folks and talk with them at our resource fair. All right. So next, I want to just sort of build on this idea of story. One of the reasons that legislators listened is you all told your stories. And we in government have to get a lot smarter about how we help you tell those stories. Whether it's story maps or convenings and panels. Our peer-to-peer session is kicking off on November 3rd, right? Last year, when we were in this space with you, we had brainstorming sessions. And one of the panels brainstorming was about our peer-to-peer session. It's finally kicking off on November 3rd, and that's building us toward the in-person convening at the end of 2026. And one of the great ways we tell stories is through video. And we're going to get to see a little bit later film, right? The excerpt from the film as a screening. And then we also are working with districts and you all to come up with shorter videos to really help you tell your stories. And Amaya Hernandez from our office is going to share just a few words about next steps for our South Coast video.
Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you all. I'm Amaya. I'm from CARB. I'm in our Office of Community Air Protection, and I'm our video series lead. It's so nice to see you all and see so many people here and to just feel your energy. I already feel better than my hour-and-a-half drive on the way here. So thank you for making it worth it. But I'm just here to give a little spiel on our video series. So over the last 2 years, we've been working with our selected communities across the state to create short community videos. And if you were here last year, you might remember that we showed one of those videos. It was showing community members from Stockton up north, our San Diego Portside community down south, and the Calexico El Centro Hebrew community in the Imperial Valley. So after we showed this video, there was some interest in doing a video with the South Coast communities. So all 6 of the communities that are represented here today. So we'd like to work with you guys on that. The creation of a community video is first and foremost for all of you to share your stories, to share your voices. We hope that you can use these videos to show your friends and your loved ones the work that you're doing on the ground, to show new community members that might want to get involved in community air protection, how they can do that, and to give them kind of an introduction to this work. And as we've been talking about, obviously this was a tough budget year. There are people in government and in legislature that don't know what this work looks like on the ground, and that maybe haven't even heard directly from a community member what this work is and what the importance of it is. So I hope that the video series can be an avenue for you guys to use your voices. Our voices are much more powerful than we think they are, especially our collective voices when we all come together to share these stories. So yeah, we're going through unprecedented times, and if we don't share our story, then someone else can share it for us. So it's important for us to use our voices. I'll be here today if anybody wants to kind of come up to me and ask me questions about the video series. I think that we did some interviews last year at last year's event, but this year I'm really just here to speak with you all and get to know you guys. And I hope that for the next steps in the video series, we can kind of actually go into the communities and do filming where you guys kind of live, work, and play. So those are the next steps. Please come find me. I'd love to get to know you guys and talk about the next steps for that. So thank you.
All right, well, good morning to all. Thank you to our executive leadership here today. We appreciate all those updates, but let's shift it back to the community now. My name is Ryan Stromar. I'm the community liaison for the AB 617 community of Wilmington, Carson, and West Long Beach. Thank you all for being here today. To our presence that makes today's event, our CSC meetings, and the AB 617 program a success. I'd like to give special thanks to Theryl Golden, West Long Beach resident and member of the Wilmington, Carson, West Long Beach Community Steering Committee, for his lifetime of environmental justice work. His commitment to the AB 617 program. Theryl, I think, is joining us on Zoom today, and if you are there, Theryl, let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, Theryl, very much. We'll hear a little more from him in the panel this afternoon. I'd also like to acknowledge another Wilmington, Carson, West Long Beach CSC member who has dedicated his life to environmental justice. Wilmington resident and executive director of the Coalition for a Safe Environment, Jesse Marquez. As many of you know, Jesse was involved in a serious motor vehicle accident, and he cannot join us here today. But his presence is felt here at South Coast AQMD, a place where he advocated fiercely for his community. His presence is felt at the Wilmington, Carson, West Long Beach CSC meetings, where he shared his knowledge and his experience. And his presence is felt in Wilmington, where he is loved. Please take a few moments today to send some positive energy, share a story, or say a prayer for Jesse and the Marquez family. We wish he was here, and we are grateful that his presence always will be. To Jesse. Now let's take translation. We'll just pause a minute. I could say a few words. Hold on track. We are testing the translation system to make sure that everybody can hear the program. Okay, no captions. Not on YouTube, no captions, says the team up here. Sorry about that, y'all, but we will try to make that change if we can in the future. Fix. Everybody's good with yes to our Spanish speaking? Sounds good to me. Let's go ahead and continue. They're not, can't do it on this format, yes, but thank you guys for trying, and we'll check into it. Everybody can hear, and we're going to get right back into it. Thank you, y'all. Let's take a moment now to recognize you and recognize the incredible efforts of all our community steering committee members, the heart of AB 617. Each of your communities has made courageous strides in pushing for cleaner air, better policies, and environmental justice. This recognition is not just symbolic, it's a standing ovation to the hours, the voices, and the leadership you've poured into this work. I want to shout out each of the communities. Let us know you're here. Give us a little raise the roof if you're in the house. And we're going to look at our first year communities of East LA, Boyle Heights, and West Commerce first. Good to see you here. Thank you for being here today. We remember those late nights out in the community that first year, and it was a great time. San Bernardino, Muscoy, where are you at? Hey, Jane, all right. Mary, I see you out there. Right on, right on. Moving on to the year 2 communities. Eastern Coachella Valley, did you come all the way here to Diamond Bar? You sure did. Southeast Los Angeles, Selah. We got a few of you here. Yes, we do. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. And our 3rd year community, I know we got him. They're out here. South Los Angeles, let's hear it. South LA, I'm so happy you made it today. Thank you so much for coming out. All right. And a special thanks to those CSC members who couldn't be here today. We appreciate their efforts as well. Let's give all of our CSC members a huge round of applause.
Morning, everyone. Good. So I'm waiting for my co-host. Oh, my name is Daniel Wong. I'm the community liaison for San Bernardino Muscoy and the Eastern Coachella Valley. You guys. So, but this morning it is my pleasure and honor to welcome my colleague, my co-host, my partner in crime, the hostess with the mostest, Angie Baldera here. So to introduce our keynote speaker.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. We prefer to go by Two Life Crew right here, coming in direct. All right, welcome everyone. You know what? We are so grateful. You could have been anywhere today on a Saturday morning, but you're here with us and we are blessed. And especially those Dodger fans. I know it took a lot to, I don't want to put salt in the wound, but you know, you'll get them. Next one. All right. I have the pleasure. I know that's the Angel fan in me coming out. I know. Get out of here. Dang, I went from being Janet Jackson to being like, throw her out. All right, here we go. I have the pleasure of introducing a young documentarian from the IE, Sofia Figueroa. Sophia is not only a documentarian, but a great advocate of the IE, born and raised in San Bernardino, as we call it, the Dino, baby. She thrives to make sure she captivates folks' story, community story, centers community and the work she does, and making sure that our stories are uplifted and not sanitized, right? Not only that, but she's an alumni of Cajon High School, where I went to school as well. Woo woo! Give it up for the Cowboys. And it's great. It's great to see someone who is born and raised in the IE, uplifting the IE in the stories and advocating through her storytelling. And not only that, y'all, but her one of her films called The Warehouse Empire won her an Emmy. Emmy Award winner right there. So please give it up. We're proud. And just know, Sophia, we are so proud of you and congratulations. And Sophia, everyone, the Dino baby, come on.
Awesome.
So welcome, Sophia. Do you want to give us a few words before we show your video?
Okay.
Or do you just want to start with the video?
Or keynote?
You want to, why don't we just start with the video? Yeah. Alberto, are we ready? Oh, is our, correct? Okay. Alberto, we're good?
Intro the video and then
Okay.
I'll come back with the speech.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
here we go.
Cool. All right, everyone. So I directed The Warehouse Empire. And the way this came about was really crazy. At the time, I had been making little short 1-minute videos about my community. And I happened to be in talks with KVCR and yep. And they brought me into a boardroom. They had told me they just wanted to do a tour. And they sat me down. They're like, actually, we've had our eye on you and we have a grant to tell a story about environmental justice. And we wanted to do it on the warehousing logistics here in San Bernardino Inland Empire. And I was like, yeah, I would love to tell that story. And so we did a 4-part series. And I called it the Warehouse Empire because back then, the Inland Empire used to be called the Orange Empire because that's what we were known for, oranges, citrus. And now that's very different because those warehouses have overtaken that land that was used. And so for me, it's now, the Warehouse Empire. So it's a 4-part series. Each part explores a different aspect of the situation of the environmental effects, how that process looks like when they're coming in, and how that looks like when people in places of power are making those decisions and how people are fighting back against that. So this is the first episode, so enjoy.
Support of the Empire Warehouse series on KVCR TV comes from the Creative Corps Inland SoCal, a collaboration between the California Arts Council, the Inland Empire Community Foundation, Arts Connection, Riverside Arts Council, and the California Desert Arts Council, putting visual and media artists to work in the region. And viewers like you. Thank you.
Looking at these photos from the Inland Empire, I always forget that it was known as the Orange Empire. It just used to be a bunch of oranges, vineyards, and of course Route 66. And I think coming from a city like this, you can't help but be obsessed with the culture and history that exists here. And I know people can kind of be distraught about the state of the city, but when I look at photos like this, I'm reminded of how great it was, but also how great it can be. And that's kind of why I named my own company Come and See Media, because when you look deeper, you can really find the beauty and the resilience and the roses growing from the concrete. Back then in the IE, it used to be wake up and smell the oranges. It used to be just rows and rows of, oh wait, I forgot we're in the Warehouse Empire. I think for a lot of us, online shopping has become a normal part of our lives. Some of us more than others, But whether it's buying an outfit, ordering some vitamins you need, or getting some parts you needed for your car, we all online shop. Well, all this online shopping needs facilities, right? And I've been noticing a lot of stuff in the Inland Empire, and one thing that's starting to concern a lot of people that live in our communities is the logistics and warehouse industry. And well, the IE has an interesting relationship with it. If you live in the Inland Empire, you probably have been noticing it too, whether it's the trucks surrounding you when you're in the 10, or the Amazon warehouses being built around you, or the pollution getting worse. I think it's something that we all notice, and I'm no expert on the topic, but as a concerned citizen who lives in this community, I am going to talk to experts and community members that can help me learn more about what is going on in the IE. The first person that came to mind was an old friend that I met when we did a panel on media and community representation, and that is environmental and health journalist Anthony Victoria. I brought you to this place because you could kind of see like the valley. There was a fire, but
you see the layer of pollution.
Yeah.
Small layer, not as thick as some days, but
yeah, not the nice cloud. What have you seen are some patterns of why warehouses specifically choose the Inland Empire for establishing their buildings?
I think there's several reasons, but one of the main ones is cheap rent. So developers find that the land here is leased at very low rates compared to other regions. The other reason is that it's a strategic point of goods movement, and it always has been if you look at our history. You have places like Colton, which were founded by railroad companies and other Fortune 500 companies for that same reason. And so over time, we've seen that this is a place of movement. I personally think, and this is me speaking as a resident, I personally think you have to have the community at the negotiating table.
Yeah.
And I think right now, it's sort of the other way around. It's the developers sitting with the people in power. It's for regular people who work in these warehouses, for people that maybe live next to these freight corridors, are at the table with these developers. They're making clear demands about what they want to see, and that those demands are actually met, and that there's some kind of middle ground. And I think for now, we haven't really seen that in this region, unfortunately.
It's kind of hard to collab with someone when you're not on the same table that they are.
Along with the economic disparities, along with the plight, there's people struggling to breathe. There's people who are dying of cancer. People like my mom, she died of cancer, unfortunately, right? So many other people that actually have organized in this movement, who have come before people like you and I, have passed away as a result of the impacts, right? It's like a slow violence. That's what I always like to tell people, right? It might not be inherently violent in the sense that somebody is stabbing you or somebody is killing you directly, but by them making these decisions, which are methodical, right? They create studies and stuff. Mm-hmm. They approve these projects. By the time, 5-10 years pass by, you notice your lungs feel heavier, right? You begin to get sick. You begin to develop cardiovascular diseases. You begin to develop respiratory diseases. All that stuff has an impact. And slowly, what that's doing, it's depleting not only our lungs and our health, but it's depleting the natural environment around us. Yeah. And so, in a lot of ways, people are fighting for their lives. And I think the urgency needs to be felt a little bit more, I think, when it comes to these government agencies, when it comes to these elected officials. I think a lot of folks want to engage with these people. They want these folks to listen to them. Mm-hmm. They want to look at them and say, hey, help me, We're not here to antagonize you. But it has to be a two-way street. And I think in some cases, it's definitely not a two-way street.
That conversation with Anthony really helped me understand how big the warehousing industry is and how it's slowly been changing the landscape of many cities here in the IE. Not only that, but how it affects the people who live near them. One of the cities being hit the most by warehouse development is Bloomington. This city, a once rural town, is now slowly being surrounded by warehouses in cities next to them and also within them. So we are totally not surrounded by warehouses. On a more serious note, we are at the Rocha's old house, who we are going to be speaking to next. And I've seen photos of their house, but I had to check it out in person. And in person, it's kind of dystopian. Even from this view, it reminds me of the house from Up. It's kind of sad, honestly. Like, you buy a house with your significant other and has a nice view of the mountains and the landscape, and then when you're about to retire, you have a neighbor called Amazon, and they build huge slabs of concrete that just like completely blocks that view. So yeah, it's kind of unreal.
In 2014, we received a letter about the property behind us because we were wondering how come it's not being built. And the economy was rough, so people weren't building. And there was from the county talking about a developer was interested in purchasing that property.
Or first turning the land to commercial instead of residential.
Oh, so it was zoned residential?
Yes. 27 homes were supposed to go there, or 29.
That's what the letter stated, that the developer was wanted to change this from residential to commercial and double shot and build like a 340,000 square foot warehouse.
We saw the developers coming in the area, right? Yeah, they were walking around our neighborhood, and my husband noticed them and goes, "Who are those guys?" And then we decided to have a little meeting at our house. And the developers came there and met, but they thought they were going to do it individual like that. Well, we had a group come to my house because we figured, 7, 8 heads are better than 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they met with us, and we told them we didn't want their project. There was nothing they could say. We didn't want their project.
They found out basically that I was called me the ringleader, that I was the one that developed the letter and passed it out. And then he proposed a $55,000 offer if my wife and I would get on board and tell the community, be an advocate for the warehouse, and tell the community how great it would be for our community.
Trying to buy you guys out.
Exactly, exactly.
So as we know, the warehouse ended up being developed. How did you guys first get that news? And how was life after that?
That morning, I think it was September the 25th, my father was in the hospital.
Yeah. So it was a vote, and his father passed that morning. So it was really devastating. So my husband thought it was so important, and his dad would want him to go. He just put his feelings aside, and we went because they were voting on the warehouse that day, and we had put, like he said, 5 years into our life into that. And they voted, and they passed it. They passed it 4-1. But we had standing room only. People couldn't even get in there. I mean, people had took off work, and they said like 300 people on the outside. They couldn't even get in. So that's how many people and then the whole room was packed.
You talk about broken-hearted people and
devastation.
Devastation. It was quiet, like we're like stunned that it passed, and all the hard work that we did.
We kind of let it absorb, and we're prayers, so we prayed a lot, we cried a lot, and we said, like, what are we going to do? Our quality of life is now going to be. It's just so different from what we thought our retirement years would be. So we said, what are we going to do, Tom? So actually, Tommy and I, we decided to move,
I'll tell you this, the main thing I have to tell people, you need to speak up. You need to speak up. Like, I use a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent on things that matter.
After speaking to Anthony and the Rochas, it really helped me understand how warehousing is affecting communities. But now I'm wondering, why are they coming to our communities? And how does that process look like when a warehouse wants to come to the Inland Empire?
So what do you guys think? It's just reminder, it's a 4-part series. If you want to, each episode is about 10 minutes each. If you want to watch the whole thing, it's on pbs.org. You can watch the entire film. It's about 50, I think it's 54 minutes. I think 50 in its entirety. So it's a great watch. I've watched it about 3 times myself, but it's fantastic. And I'd like to invite Sophia back up for any Q&A or any words. So if you guys have questions, get your questions ready. We have some mic runners that are gonna run around and see if you guys have any questions for Sophia, because it's not every day you get access to a 2-time Emmy Award winner.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you guys for having me. Just wanted to kind of introduce myself a little bit and speak a bit, and I'll take some questions. But yeah, my name is Sofia Figueroa. I'm from San Bernardino, born and raised. Yep. And so, growing up, I had always just been very curious, very quiet, and just observant. And I started going towards filmmaking because it allowed me to speak without saying words. And I really felt that way when it came to storytelling. And so I went to school in San Bernardino during its peak of bankruptcy, and I was in the film club. And so that was a very interesting experience because our film club had no cameras, and our teacher would basically say, hey guys, like get your phones and we're gonna tell a story. Like you gotta focus on the story. And so that's one thing that I really wanted to talk about here, because that's kind of the strength that has led me here, something that I thought was a weakness. And, I didn't have these cameras to work on, just storytelling actually ended up being a strength. I thought my weakness in being quiet and introverted actually being a strength in listening to other people's stories. And so along my journey, I've partnered with People's Collective for environmental justice a bunch of times, and they've allowed me to capture people's stories and just be in the presence of people, ask them questions, and be present. And I think that's how I've learned so much. And so one thing I do want to bring up is something that really has the power to be a superpower when it comes to reaching out to people. Because as you can see, I really gravitate towards documentary because I think there's 2 things that make it so powerful. It's the visuals and it's the storytelling. And in this day and age of, right now, the current average attention span is around 47 seconds. And that's not very long, right? And it's going lower. And so there are ways to fight this, right? Because a lot of us ask, how can we get our story out? How do we get people to care? How do we inform the public with these 47 seconds? And so there's a way. And one of those is I want to share some stats with you. So we know the average attention span is 47 seconds. However, studies find that visuals help people retain information by 400%. And they actually increase like this thing called the human bandwidth, which is our capacity to retain information, to understand it, and to synthesize that information. And so I'm just talking about visuals here. And recently, the London School of Business did a study, and they tested people on retaining information, and that ability to retain like statistics when presented with visuals jumped up 25%. And when presented with visuals and a story, 70%. And so that's the power that we can have when storytelling. And we mentioned stories and video. I think that's a great, direction to go because visual storytelling is key. And so I know a lot of us here are here to have community, talk with other people who are also in the same fight as you. And I think one thing that I would love to share with you guys is this tool that we can use, especially for people, I'm speaking to social media managers, people who are posting or making videos. That's something that I think will help us when getting the story out to people who don't know about what we're struggling with. Yesterday, I had a meeting with the California Arts Council, and this lady was talking with community leaders, and I was there, and she said, "You guys have mentioned warehouses a lot. Is that like a big thing where you guys are at?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let me show you this thing." But I think visuals is a really great way to show people what is our realities, our daily nightmares, if you will. And I think, right now we're struggling, fighting for the right to breathe, right? And we're thinking, you know, this is not a life or this is not a negotiation. Like, this is a life or death situation. Like, why aren't they getting it? And I really think video is the way to do that. And so one thing I want to leave off with is that when we share these stories, have those conversations, even if it's with people that you disagree with, share your story, because if we never share it, we went through all that for nothing. And when we never share it, people will never understand or have empathy for what we've experienced. And you guys already have those stories. And that's why me as a documentarian, I'm not here to give you a voice. You already have a voice. I'm just have a platform to do it. And so when we have visual storytelling, we have the ability to inform the public, to share that empathy with committee members, to wake up people who don't understand and who are in our community, because I was one of those. I live in San Bernardino, and it wasn't until after high school that I was like, oh yeah, you know what? Like, I do have asthma. All my uncles are truck drivers. And yeah, there's warehouses everywhere. Like, I lived in the community and I didn't realize it until I started having those conversations with people in my community, and they woke me up. And so I really think those visuals, when you present them, and I've had conversations with people who said, you know what, I live here. And it wasn't until I saw that image, I'm like, yeah, that's so true. Like, they're everywhere. And not only that, but as we're gearing up with training our new leaders and training our youth to also continue the fight, that is their love language. Like, they're always online, and I can speak for that. And so I really think, you guys already have the knowledge and the stories, and using that and using video to train the next generation up to also join you guys to fight is key. And so when I envision the future of this fight, I see the stories of our communities being spotlighted and shared in a way that will actually tug at the hearts from people not just being viewers to actually being participator and allies. And so that when our communities look back at this, collective digital archive that we have, they don't just see commercials of BNSF, they don't just see commercials of Amazon, but they actually see their community, they see the voices, and they see themselves and visuals of us fighting the fight for our own community. So thank you guys. So, do any of you guys have any questions about that?
We got some mic runners.
Cool.
Let's see hands, and then
Right here in the front.
NGB, we're gonna do this NGB style. We're gonna pick folks, right? So I think Jane in the front had a question first, and we'll get to the back.
Yeah. I think I met you last Thursday. You were sitting next to me at the Planning Commission hearing. I think it was you.
Yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I wasn't feeling good that day.
At the Garcia Center.
But I went there anyway, and I've been doing this for over 30 years. I'm 76 now, fighting housing developments, and now the warehouses. It just goes on and on. But I was wondering, I was interested, since I represent Musqueam, I've been wanting to show at the board meetings, because I complain all the time along Cajon Boulevard. There's too many trucks coming down there now, and they never used to be allowed to go down there. And I was wondering, you brought up a good point about, I've always been wanting to do a video or something to represent, because I've lived out there for over 50 years. And I've been coming, even though I was born in Long Beach, 2009. And I wasn't born then. But anyway, our family moved up here, my mom and I and my brother, to the Inland Empire. And we've been living here ever since. And I've been, us old timers that have lived here for a long time, we've noticed in the past 10 years even, how disgusting San Bernardino and all the roads and Vermont. I go shopping over on, and my dentist is over on University Parkway, and Caltrans is now working. They're building on and off ramps. I sarcastic about it, but I think it's true. They're widening for the trucks because there's a Walmart. So I figured out a way, because I know the area, I figured out a way to avoid all that. I cut across where Walmart is, Walmart Parkway. That's a whole other issue too. And I go up to Palm Avenue to get across to go. But I have to time myself when the college gets out or people get off work. So now I have to, now that I'm retired, I have to define what time am I going to go over there, because it's impossible to go up University Parkway now. And so I just find this appalling, and it's been in the past few years.
Yeah.
You know, that this is happening. I complain about it all the time at the board. And even if you showed them photos or something of the area, they still, I hate to say this, but I tell it to new people, because I was at that meeting that I saw on the one episode of your documentary. I was there when they were approving that warehouse, and I knew that they would approve it because they get development from the developers, they get finances. So my question was, how are you guys going to think that it's going to change their mind? The only one that abstained, somebody was sitting next to me, and they were really bummed out, and I looked at him, I said, I've been an old hand at this, and what they do is he abstained from it, and it's in his district because he was getting pushback. But I said the rest, they did not have to go along with it because it's not in their district, but they did. So they needed that one extra vote, and he voted. That doesn't mean he's not for the warehouses.
Oh, Jane, I don't want to cut you off, but,
but that's okay.
we got some folks in the back with their hands up. We are going to have a discussion panel later. So
thank you.
Mr. Rodney, we're gonna make our way over to you. Make sure you get the mic. Sophia, do you want to respond?
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point. Is that's I mean, that area we try to avoid too, because it gets so packed, and I've been stuck like 40 minutes just going one block, right? But I think that's the great thing is we can't change their minds, but we can occupy real estate within their mind. And so the more stories and visuals that are out there, they're actually going to have to be faced with the reality of what their decisions are affecting us, and that's the goal. And if they want to be a bad person, they can. But yeah.
Thank you for that, Jane. Thank you, Sophia. And we're looking. We see hands. We're taking tabs. We're going to go in order. Mr. Rodney?
Really quick, I just want to thank you for that video. It was very thorough and it was very creative, and it did keep my attention over 47 seconds.
Thank you.
I think Robert, who we got? Mary.
Hi, my name is Mary. I work at Valley College, so love that you're working with KVCR and FNX, our public broadcasting. I want to talk about that a little bit because I think it's not a coincidence that we almost had some defunding of our AB 617, and we're also seeing some defunding of public broadcasting and some of our public investigative journalism kind of thing. Can you talk about that and how important you think it is to have these types of programming, especially community-led programming on public broadcasting?
Yeah, I think that's definitely needed, especially in places where, right now in lots of areas in the Inland Empire, we are in journalistic deserts where the current newspapers that we have are actually just refabricated over and over again, like copy and pasted by these big industrial like news people. And so it's not like an actual journalist like researching and doing all that. So I think that's why I love KVCR, because they actually support that. You know, Anthony, he works with KVCR, and he's out there on the streets, he's talking, he lives in those places that he interviews. And so I think we just don't see that anymore. And places like KVCR and PBS really help promote that. And I think that's something that I try to do here is show both sides, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, and let the viewer decide and make their own, you know, drawings from that. So I think places like PBS, NPR, KVCR are great ways to get that information and have your own deductions from that. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Mary. And next up, I see in the back, Mike, who got?
All right.
Introduce yourself.
Would you like the mic?
Oh, that was, now we're fighting over who gets to go first. All right, please introduce yourself.
I was wondering for your cameras, so you just used like just your phone, or because I saw a drone in there, so just curious.
No, that was my phone.
I just was wondering because it was so it looked really well done. So I just, for people that maybe they want to film their own stuff, like it encourages them to use their phone, which I think is fine. I just wanted to know, like, since it seemed like very guerrilla style, like that's why I was just wondering, like, what cameras were you using? I was just curious. I liked it.
Yeah, these cameras, I don't know. They were actually cameras from KVCR's own equipment. So they had given me a crew of like 3 to 4 people. So they had the cameras, they kind of handled all of that. Usually on my own productions, I kind of just have my own little camera, but they had like the big guns and they had the drones. So that was really helpful. And there's actually, in the last episode, we go into the board of supervisors and we film some parts of them actually voting on a warehouse that would replace, I think, the Zimmerman Elementary School. And so, yeah, we try to go wherever it was that we were allowed to go in, and they let us in there. So, yeah, we use cameras for that one, like actual cameras.
Thank you for that. We're going to go over here, and then we're going to come right back to you. So,
Good morning, buenos dias. Rudy from Celia. I live in Palm Springs, in North Hollywood. Do you think the most important is the elected officials? End of the day, when I read your commentary, if we elect those leaders, and if you're gonna, it's very important you vote for leaders that cast those votes are very important. Don't you think, in your opinion, is having the right council members or the board of supervisor believing in your district? End of the day, they make decisions. Do you think if they have select the right council member with the voting with the other direction? What do you think about having the politician make those decisions? Because if I'm an elected official, if I don't want this on my district, I will vote no on it and talk to my colleagues. But end of the day, it's about money, and the PAC. If I want to continue to be on the city council or the mayor, I'm going to take his money or their money because it benefits me. Do you think that's a very important who we elect on the city council?
Oh yeah, for sure. City council, because even in my own city, San Bernardino, you can definitely see different city council members taking in more money from like developers and warehousing, and there's others city council members that really don't want to be inviting all those warehouses. So I really think that's even like, it is important, especially city council people, because I think sometimes people tend to wave off like, oh, let's focus just on the president, but no, like it needs to go all levels, especially local, because that actually affects us. So, and to your point, like it's always like money is like always the thing that makes these decisions sometimes, but there are exceptions, and we can make it really hard for them to put certain developments in our city. And we've seen it happen before, just in our city with some of the airport communities. They've stopped or kind of like put back certain developments that were going to displace the community. So yeah, that's always the struggle. Yeah. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. That was Rudy from Arcella community. Our next speaker, we're going to need an interpretation, live interpreter.
Yeah.
Second,
they don't see my hand.
up there first.
Hello?
Yes.
So my name is Rashawn Knight, and I live in the community. I live in Willowbrook community, which would be called South Central, borderline Watts. So I can relate to what the young lady is saying because I grew up in that area, and I can understand about the warehouses because we have warehouses. We also have a community, but when you go past the community and go past Linwood, then you're on the freeway, get on the 91. Now they building all these areas up in the area for warehouses. So you're not the only one y'all neighborhood has not been the only one that has been affected by it. Also, our neighborhood has been affected by it too, because I also grew up in the San Bernardino area in the Ranch Park. So I see what you're talking about. My sisters and them lived in the Inland Empire in Moreno Valley, and it's going on out there too. So I understand, I get it, but who am I to say to go against a whole committee? And people's always tell me, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I see this. I was raised for this through the Islamic in 1970s. And my mother took us out of public school and they talked about this to us in the 70s. And they said, just watch around the community that you live in. See, I come from Hyde Park in Victoria. I'm an Inglewood baby. I went to Hyde Park Elementary, and we used to see the trains run through off Florence and Western, and we used to see these big trains and stuff run through the neighborhoods where our school was, Hyde Park Elementary. So I get it, and I am also now affected by asthma. I'm also now one of the people that live in the community from asthma. The next step is CPOD. And I was raised and born back and forth in Arkansas. When I go there, I don't have any problem breathing. I don't have to use my inhaler at all. But when I'm here, I constantly have to use it. He gets mad and say, well, honey, you gotta go outside. I don't wanna go outside.
Yeah.
I don't wanna go outside. And I just started coming back outside maybe a month ago. And when he told me, he said, I want you to get up. I want you to go get some records expunged so you can start using your voice now. And guess who I met? I met Mrs. Calhoun and Mr. Rodney. And I asked them, what did they do? And they said they give back to the community. And they said, well, we want you to come out. And I also met Miss Jackie, and she wanted me to come out. And now I get it. I get it. If you don't speak up, nobody knows what's going on.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, that's super true. If no one speaks up, no one's gonna know. I also have family in South Central. And so I also know the struggle with the warehouses and a lot of my family back then in like the 70s, they used to work in the fabricas, and they also have effects that they weren't even told about, that they were being exposed to. And then a lot of them had to deal with the train on Slauson, that old train that is not there anymore. But yeah. And so, yeah, I think speaking up and using the voice that you do have and the experiences that you have felt, there's so much wisdom in that. And I think definitely sharing that with your community and with people who are also young like me, I think we also need to know like what happened, what has happened, because we come in only knowing sometimes like what we currently know. And so we need people like you guys to fill us in and help us, get that knowledge and wisdom from you guys. So thank you.
Thank you for that. We have down in front, Sandra.
Gracias, Daniel. Buenos días, mi nombre es Sandra Ramírez, vengo de Coachella.
Felicidades, Sofi,
Gracias.
por el premio y por el gran trabajo que estás haciendo. Y me siento muy orgullosa por el hecho de que pues eres mujer hispana, entonces muchos logros, gracias. Bueno, mi pregunta es, lo que pude ver es que el hecho de que hayan hecho esa fábrica cerca de las viviendas no solamente afectaría pues los gases que emiten los camiones que se van a usar. Ay, no sé si me quiera traducir la señora para no.
My name is Sandra. Thank you for being here and congratulations, especially as a woman and also someone that lives in the Inland Empire. My question is the warehousing issue and them being built so close to homes. They can impact families.
Sí, impacta no solamente la salud respiratoria o el hecho de la calidad del aire por los camiones que se van a usar o que
And
se están usando.
respiratory health, especially because of the trucks that are used to come and go.
Pero yo lo que pude ver fue también la salud emocional de ellos, porque estaban como sorprendidos de que era su vivienda, que iban a pasar ahí su retiro y ahora estaba una bodega detrás de ellos.
But also the emotional health that is impacted, especially because they saw themselves growing old in their homes. It was their retirement. And now they have this giant warehouse sitting behind their home.
Y pensando en todos estos impactos en la salud, hubiera existido la posibilidad que si ellos no aceptaban esos, creo que eran 50 o 55,000, algo así, si no los hubieran aceptado, hubieran no construido la bodega?
Is there a possibility that if they had not accepted the funds, I think it was 50 or 55,000, something like that, would there have been any hope that the warehouses would not be built?
Porque eso nos da un ejemplo a los demás, que tanto los selectos o las personas que hablan o que toman decisiones a favor, se supone que es a favor todo por los comunales, qué tanta esperanza hay para que los demás luchen o no, porque si ellos no hubieran aceptado el dinero y aún así iban a construir, quiere decir que no les importa lo que piensa la comunidad.
Because that serves as a lesson to all of us in the future. If you have people that are in the same situation, wondering whether people accept or not accept the money that's being offered to be able to build these warehouses, if the money is not accepted, was there a possibility that the buildings would not be built?
The money was so that the money was to basically have them tell their community that warehouses are good. Yeah, they were paying them to change their opinion on the situation. So I don't think it would have made them stop building the warehouse, but they were just trying to pay them to stop talking what they were talking. And then they got really bothered too when the representatives from the warehouse came to visit them and they had the whole community there because they wanted to speak one-to-one because it's easier to deal one-on-one, but they already knew what they were doing. They were trying to convince each person to sell their house to them. But when they came, they had a full house of community members and they really didn't like that. Yeah, they want to divide and conquer. And so, oh, yeah, so, yeah, pero gracias, lo agradezco mucho.
Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you, Sophia. We got just letting time check. We got about 10 minutes left, so I know we still have a few people that we want to get to. Mic runners on this side, I know we got a few. We got one in the back right now. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you for your work. My name is Moses Massenberg. My children and I are also Emmy Award winners. We have multiple Emmys from our documentaries, but I'm out of Watts, but I was born in San Bernardino. But I was born premature, and I was also born with prenatal cocaine exposure, but I was raised on a farm. It's very important to hear everyone's story in here, but I want to say qualitatively and quantitatively, it's important to me that the trajectory of your work inspires children. So I have a question, and then I have another question and another question.
Okay.
But I have to put them all together because people have a lot of questions. One, and you can answer, one, would you take an invitation?
Give me a second.
Translation.
Translation.
Mi gente quiere ayuda en mi barrio, pero es mucho dinero en LAUSD. So all I need to know is whether or not you'd be open to having your documentary in an LAUSD film festival so that we could take it to Sacramento and then get both of our films, since we have enough Emmys between us and some of my colleagues who have also won Emmys, to have it circulate statewide and then go to the federal level, number one. Number two, do you have any plans on articulating your story in a comic book or in a way that children can be receptive to, in a way that negates the language barrier beyond the binary of Spanish and English, particularly in Asiatic languages, where people don't like Black and brown people, especially Black people who speak Spanish, de Guerrero, de Chiapas, de Guatemala, Chapinas también, ¿entiendes? And then lastly, how do you protect yourself? So if you're at a recorded meeting and people might run in here and you don't have protection, where's your detail guard? Because a lot of us, especially those of us who are elected officials, always have to keep our heads on a swivel, because sometimes we collaborate with people who disenfranchise us and are the reason we have PTSD as people who were born in San Bernardino, raised in South Central, and fought on the streets of Inglewood because we went to high schools where they drop jet fuel all over people all the time, and we just don't see it because people don't understand the way things vaporize. Pero in Espanol, sometimes this stuff doesn't translate well. So when you have ESL students in LAUSD or in Riverside RUSD, if you go back and forth for transliteration, the environmental jargon and lexicons don't make sense. So how do you translate these things, number one, into multiple languages? Number two, how do you get paid? Number three, how do you protect yourself?
Okay. I'm keeping track of all of those. Yeah, so I think when it comes to different languages, we always want to make it as accessible to all the languages. And so for me, it's definitely priority English and Spanish, just because of the Southern California, those are like the top ones. And if they can be translated into more, that's even better. And second question was,
that don't get along because they have historical beef, because of war, because of collaboration with imperial powers that don't like Black people.
I mean, if they don't like us, then that's on them. But the information is the information. It's what was that? The they, I guess, the people that oppose us, and who. Okay.
Question about the award winning, submitting your documentary
Uh-huh.
to film festivals.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah, we've been submitting to several film festivals around the city, and they've been getting awards. We recently won first place in the Inland Film Fest for a documentary. So we definitely are submitting to film festivals, and I know with KVCR, they're also having different screenings with different universities to really like spark those discussions with people. And actually the last screening I went to was at Claremont College, and there was a big developer there, and I think he said it was very powerful. I mean, I hope it sticks in his head. But yeah, there are different people from different backgrounds coming, and they're watching it, and it's sparking discussion. And if I can just spark that discussion, and they can take it wherever they want, that's just amazing that I can, do that. So, and who am I protected by? The blood of Jesus Christ. So, yeah.
Thank you for the question. Thank you for the great answer. We got time for about 2 more questions.
Okay.
Next we got Anita.
Good morning, folks. My name is Anita Liu. I'm out of the, what?
You got it right up.
Hold the mic closer.
Oh, I'm Anita Liu. I'm out of the Eastern Coachella Valley. So I live in Indio, right on the border of Indio and Coachella. And we have, I don't know anyone here who's not affected by warehouses, but we have a whole bunch of warehouses coming into our area. Now, we thought for a while that we would get away but it didn't work out that way. So warehouses came in Palm Springs. Warehouses went to Banning first. There was a community group that put up some funds, hired an attorney. I walked into a Banning meeting. The house was packed, and that first warehouse was turned down, but then another one came back. I'm headed back to Banning this afternoon. So this issue of the warehouses is going to be going on for some time. And it seems to me as though, I mean, I really appreciate your documentary because it's something that we can use at community meetings to convey the message and start the conversation. So thank you very much for that. But for the rest of the CSC members, it seems as though we need to jointly address that and even sometimes pull some of the city council members into a long-term working group ahead of the warehouse sending the notice to your house, because by then it's almost too late. We need a comprehensive plan, and I notice that when they're rolling out these things, there's no, like when they do their CEQA analysis, they're doing it one warehouse at a time. They're not considering, in my opinion, cumulative effects of several warehouses. So even legally, to me, it's questionable from a CEQA standpoint. But we, you know, it's a longer term discussion with a joint working group. So I'd like to throw that idea out there for the CSC members in communities that have this warehouse as an emerging issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, this is definitely an emerging issue in a lot of our communities. And that's why I think having more video coverage in each community would be great. And I think they had mentioned it earlier with CARB, right? That they're going into communities and they're filming those stories. And I think that's definitely a great start to do that. And I actually didn't know that they only did the CEQA on one warehouse per time. And that's actually a really good point that, you know, we should actually measure all of them since they're all in one area. So that's a really good point.
So you have to consider cumulative effects. It's not being done.
Yeah.
As far as I can see.
It's true. Thank you for that, Anita. We got two more questions. I'm going to go up top first and then end with you. And then I know you all have great questions that are burning a hole in your soul. Just keep them in mind. We do have a panel discussion after lunch today, and we're going to bring our thought partners in. And Sophia, if you're more than welcome to join us as well. Okay. And folks, we are having a lot of networking sessions as well. And so I know Amaya from CARB taking notes. We know we got some people that are here that want to talk. So just keep that in mind also. Up top first, Robert. Okay, sorry, you can go.
Liz Reese from Southeast LA, Southgate. Thank you for bringing this up. I think it's really important to inspire folks to create these kinds of documentaries. Like you said, you know, you started at the university, at the college with the club, and it's something that I think we should keep going. We should keep inspiring other youth, other folks to document. And right now, I think even though, unfortunately, a lot of these public groups that are usually the public broadcasting programs are getting cut, I think we're lucky that there's other means to distribute these videos. You know, people are on social media, and you can produce something really good with whatever, you know, is available. And I think that's definitely a benefit of the time. And I think, you know, I'm hoping that I don't know if you're involved with other groups with really trying to show other people how to do this. I think as a group of people, you know, we're already disenfranchised with how we can put this in the greater mass media sector. But I think it's really important as community members to really figure out how to get our points across, because like you said, you know, people have a really short attention span. And I think that's one thing that we have against us, that there's so much happening in our communities, but how do we focus that message? How do we make it so that we get more attention? Because it's there, we have a lot going against us. You know, like people talked about people in power. All they want to do and their biggest excuse is how do we bring more business in our communities? That's one thing we're dealing with in Southeast LA. And that's been the emphasis of, or the root of environmental injustice, environmental racism, that these companies come where they don't see pushback because, you know, they see us as people of color, they see us as uneducated. Nobody's gonna have time to go to the meetings to say anything. And so we need to fight against that. We need to, you know, elevate our voices, elevate our concerns, make it so that people have the space to bring these concerns up. And I want to thank you for really putting this information out you know, and I think it's all of us, you know, we're all here to help distribute whatever you got. So thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
One last question. Thank you for being so patient.
Thank you so much for your contribution and your voice. My name is Sharon Evans, and I'm from South Los Angeles, particularly representing the unincorporated communities of Willowbrook and West Athens. I am calling upon your heart to build upon what our friend just said. I happen to be the parent of high school twins, both of who have a love for photography. One that has your personality and is in 11th grade taking his first introduction to environmental science because he loves the peace that community aesthetics and a healthy natural environment brings. So that is his words, not mine. So I ask you, given what you've seen and where you've been, how do you envision opening the door or providing a step for the young people, not in college, in high school, who see or have that calling to care about the spaces they live in, the beauty, the aesthetics, the health. I got a 16-year-old boy who gave up sugar. Wow. So, you know, what are those steps? How do we open a door collectively so that they can come through and begin to connect with commissions and sources of fundings and learn that storytelling and learn how to articulate it and figure out where it can impact our future? Because we can't do it all by ourselves. We have to allow them to step up and do some of it.
Yeah, right. I love that. Yeah, I think it's really about giving back to your community, whether it's like workshops or even sharing online, like tips and tricks that I learned along the way, because I wish I had that back then. And I didn't, you know, we had a great teacher who taught us storytelling, and I'm so grateful for that. But yeah, I definitely do think like teaching that next generation in high school, especially like right now, I'm currently giving after school classes in documentary filmmaking at my current high school. Cajon High School. And the kids are hungry. They're so hungry, and they have these stories. And you know, when you're in high school, you're like, I gotta get it out, and they're angsty. And so I think really, you know, these kids have a voice, and by training them and giving those skills of documentary filmmaking, not only just the storytelling side, but the technical side of how to operate the camera, it really arms them to go out into the world that they're entering and, you know, capture what they're experiencing. So I'm so big about like, you know, training that next generation, because what I've seen a lot in my community is that we're like, we want to get out, we want to make it out the hood, and then we never come back. And then, you know, our young ones don't really have people to look upon that, you know, they made it out and they got the skills, they got the awards, but they never came back to actually like feed into their community. And so I think we need more of that for sure. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sophia. I know we got one person in the back that's dying to give. I mean, we got a lot of people that are dying to give comments. But we got.
Hi, my name is Barbara Calhoun. I just have a statement. A lot of residents and individuals don't realize it starts with the planning commission that's in each and every one of your cities. It starts with the planning commission for every building that's going to be built in your city. And a lot of times, whatever city you live in, they mail you something about a building that's gonna come in your area. And a lot of individuals will look at that paper and throw it away. And then when they start building it, you try to figure out, well, when did this come up? So I think that another good thing, and I know a lot of people don't have time, but your planning commission is where all these buildings are coming up. And if you can start finding out when your planning commission meet, and you ladies and gentlemen go there and attend it, and you talk against it, you talk for it, you'd be surprised how much that you will have more power with the planning commission and listening, because a lot of people don't show up. And I know some of the things go by because of the secret rules and stuff like that. But if you start attending those planning commission from the city of LA to wherever you live, find out where they are and find out what they're building in your community, whether it's a warehouse or whatever, and get people carpool and go down and talk against it. So that's all.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you. Cool. Awesome. Well, thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the film. If you want to watch the rest, it's on the PBS website, and it's free, or it's on YouTube too. But yeah, thank you guys for your time.
So round of applause for Sophia. Thank you so much, Sophia, for joining us. You're awesome to work with, and you're just an awesome presence to be around. Just for our folks that have burning questions still, think about this prompt for our afternoon panel session. When it comes to improving air quality around warehouses and other pollution sources, what tools, strategies, or resources do community members, y'all, think we're missing from our toolbox? And what additional ideas for advocacy approaches would you like us to consider? So just something to think about over lunch and network over that. And Sophia, just a reminder, there is that was only one chapter, y'all. Like there's still 3 more. So I mean, keep the questions coming, and I'm going to pass it on to Evangelina Barrera.
Hello all, I know we're all starting to get hungry. And again, thank you so much for Sophia. Wasn't she fantastic? We knew that there would be a lot of discussion from her warehouse, and she's amazing. She's awesome. And again, like Daniel just said, think about the prompt. The conversation doesn't end here. We're going to break for lunch and then reconvene in our other conference room where we can continue the conversations. But before we all go, one, we'd like to thank our staff who put this together, from our, everybody, from our registration folks, transportation folks, Mike who put the resource fair together, and our fabulous manager, Miss Arlene, who we couldn't do this without her. So thank you to all the staff who put this together. And we want to take a group photo with everybody. Like I said, this is our 2nd annual CSC event. So we want to memorialize this event with a picture with everyone. And so all right here, it'll be right here.
Squeeze in the middle.
If you can all just scooch in.
Scooch.
In. There's
Act like
plenty of
COVID ain't real.
space. Plenty of seating. Yeah, you can sit there. Everybody just can. You can stay seated. You can stay seated. Just scooch in together. Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah. Thank you.
Everyone into the middle.
Yeah, everybody to the middle. Everybody can find a seat in the middle.
I was gonna go sit that corner. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, I can't get up there, right?
And be part of the picture. Got it. Where you go? Oh, block.
Yeah, it's all blocked.
There was no other, yeah.
It was the open slide.
That's the first slide.
So that's showing on the screen?
Yeah, so Cessa, you want to
Sally, and then at some point, can we also get this picture? We can do the group photo, but we could also somehow get
I
this.
don't think that'll come out.
Okay.
Only because it's with our fingers, but I will try.
Oh, no worries. Thank you.
Go sit, go, Angie, have a seat
There's
over there.
seats over here. I'm not gonna get any of them over there. They're all.
Robert?
Robert, can I help you move that group inwards? And Mike, Robert and Mike, can I have you move that group inwards?
Okay. That's right.
Right. Ready?
Come on, everybody, let's get it together.
All right. 1, 2, smile.
Justice.
Okay, 1 sec. Switch.
Can I hand you my phone?
Hey, put your hands up. Put the fighting hands up, even if some people find it offensive. All right. 1, 2. Beautiful. Thank you.
Stand up comedy show. Hold on, everybody. Gotta wait 2 seconds. Or you exit, and all that stuff, just give us 2 minutes, real quick. Okay. Real quick, please.
Have a seat, have a seat, have a seat.
Have a seat. Look, I'll talk. I had a burning question. No, I'm serious. If you guys don't mind, I just.
We need one mic. You need a mic?
I don't need one.
Okay.
We're offline. Yeah, we're on break. So, okay. Everybody getting back, right?
Yes.
We good? All right. Thank everybody, and all speakers, everything. You guys have been fantastic and just inspiring. So, I just want, the whole purpose of the CFC is getting everybody together. It's important. We got a lot of talent on. We got it well. Yeah. Yeah. So. Take your time.